Well, it poured rain almost all day yesterday and yesterday evening, but the sun has at last come out and the temperatures are starting to warm up. And it's a good time to join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at 8 Hoyas that are in bloom. And before we get started, a couple bits of business. Thank yous go out this week to Beata and Leia, who each bought me coffees. Your support for my channel goes a long way in helping keep me in Hoyas and technology, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you both very much. And before we get down to blooming Hoyas, I've got a couple other plants that are in bloom that I want to share. The first one up is this Phalaenopsis orchid. And I've had this poor beast for a very, very long time. This orchid may have been around here for at least 10 years. It's had some rough days, but it never ceases to surprise me and delight me each year when it blooms. Love the color on that. And yeah, what's not to like when you've got an orchid in bloom? And when you've got 2 orchids in bloom, and one of them's a first-time bloomer, that's very cool. This one is Phalaenopsis mini Mark. And I wanted, let's see if I have to do a little rearranging here. I wanted this orchid the first time I saw those blooms. They're just beautiful. And as you can see, next to my thumb, that's, oh wait, I've got my handy dandy measuring tape. So that bloom is about 1.25 inches or 3 centimeters side to side. And I'll put some, I've got close-ups of this one. I'll put some close-ups over there, but I think that's just beautiful. I don't know if I can get it to focus that close, but yeah, it's just a delight. I had my doubts about it. It came from a seller that I'm not entirely thrilled with, so I'm not going to mention them. But yes, so far it survived its shipping, it survived the winter. It's had buds for a very long time, and it finally decided to start opening them, and boy, oh boy, isn't that a pretty thing. That's just great. And a couple people have asked me about my little orchid setup thing here instead of clips. So I figured I would show you how to do it. You need a piece of that brand name plant tape. And you fold it over, back on itself, like that. And then you make 2 snips that divide the tape into thirds. You don't cut all the way through, you cut through the folded end. So you make 2 snips. So it kind of looks like that. I don't know. I'll do another version of it close up. And then all you have to do is feed your stake through those 2 slits and wrap it around your plant stem, and it sticks to itself. And it's adjustable. Really cool, really cheap idea if you don't have any of those little clippy things. Or if there's sometimes when I don't feel like using those on a particular vine or stem or something, I need something a little bit more gentle to hold it, and these work really well. So yeah, very cool. And the first blooming Hoya up today has to be my Hoya Bella Inner Variegated. Now, Hoya Bella is native to Assam in India, the Manipur region, and to Myanmar. It was first published in 1848 in Botanical Magazine or Flower Garden Displayed by William Jackson Hooker. And there's a note on the herbarium sheet that says Burma, which was the old name for Myanmar. So that's probably where it was first discovered. It's sometimes referred to as Louis Bois, but I don't use those terms because I've seen Louis Bois, Lois Blah, Louis Blah, Bois, Boyce. I've seen all kinds of different spellings, which can lead some people to think that they are different species or different varieties, and they're not. It's just bad transcription and bad use of names, so I tend to stick with variegated for this one. And boy, oh boy, those leaves are just beautiful. And let's see if I can do this without. And you can't beat Bella blooms. And right now, all of my Hoya Bellas are in bloom. I just picked this one because it hasn't been out for a while, so I thought it was its turn. Yeah, this is just, I know some people have difficulty with Bella. It's, as with everything else, it's usually a watering issue. Bella does not want to dry out. So you need to have it in some kind of setup that's going to help, that's going to retain some moisture and help keep this thirsty plant happy. I have mine in pon, and generic pon and self-watering wick-based pot. And my Bellas all seem to love that, provided that I keep the reservoir topped up, whatever that phrase is. They do fine. They're very, very happy. They don't require a lot of light. This one, because the variegation is rather high, I try and give it more light because, you know, plants only make food in the green parts. And people have been asking about the backs of leaves. So I'll see if I can turn that to show the back of the leaf. They only make food in the green part. So the less green part, the less food making capabilities. So up the light a little bit. But it's doing really well. It's a healthy, happy plant. I have taken cuttings from this one and sold them. And I put one or two that didn't sell back in the pot. So that's contributed to this lushness and verdancy. How about that? Pull a word out of thin air. This is really good. This is a good beginner Hoya, provided you just don't treat it like a succulent, because as we know, they ain't. This one came from the Hoya shop on Etsy, and this is Hoya Bella variegated. My next blooming Hoya is Hoya Sunrise. Now, Hoya Sunrise is a hybrid of Hoya lacunosa subspecies pallidiflora and Hoya obscura. And it was created in 1992 by Michael Miyashiro. And he worked out of Hawaii, I believe. And this one's known for being a sun stressor. And I'm not known for being a sun stressor, but this one looks kind of neat with a little bit of color. And it's blooming this week. And I'll put some close-ups. They're very pretty. It's kind of a butterscotch corolla with gold coronas, and there's a little touch of a red in the corollas. So yeah, There's a very slight scent, although it's afternoon, so that may get a little stronger in the evening. It's not unpleasant, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Yeah, but I'm really thrilled about that. I think once this one gets a little bit more legs on her, she'll take off. She's been doing very well lately. Everybody has. Oh, things are going out of control in the Hoya room. I've got to get in there with scissors and be unkind, because things have worked their way up. They find these tiny little holes, and they'll send a vine through that. So yeah, this one's been doing very, very well. Happy with this plant. This is a good grower. I'm just thrilled that it's blooming, because those blooms are very, very pretty. All Hoya blooms are pretty. I haven't really run into an ugly Hoya bloom. There's some I like more than others, but you know, they're all pretty. So yeah. This one came from Logie's in Connecticut, and this is Hoya Sunrise. Next up, we've got one of my favorites. This is Hoya ponderata, Vietnam. Now, Hoya ponderata is native to Yunnan province in China, to Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and was first published in 1939 in Sun Yat-senia, a journal of the Botanical Institute, College of Agriculture, Sun Yat-sen University. And I bet it has a different name now. And it was published by Xiang Ying, or Xiang Ying. I apologize for butchering your name. This one has been through a lot with me. The leaves are, let's see if I can find a good example. The leaves are very pretty, very unique. Let's see if this one works better. They have a nice little amount of veins and some splash. They have raised veins, dark margins, and this one blooms like crazy. Let's see if I can get this to turn just right, so I get the light and the blooms. It's very pretty, and I'll put close-ups on the side, of course. This one is very thirsty, not just at this particular moment, but just in general, it's a thirsty plant. It is kind of a large thing, but once it gets established and gets a regular supply of moisture and nutrients, it's in bloom all the time. Right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I've got 20 peduncles in some form of the bloom cycle, either buds or in full bloom. I love the yellow color. Let's try this side. Make sure we show off everybody. I love the yellow color. They're very, very pretty. They have let me describe you, a pale yellow corolla, a darker, more intense yellow corona with a little bit of a ruby color in the center. There's a scent. Fresh cut grass is what comes to mind. Again, this one may have a different scent later in the day. Now, fresh cut grass is what comes to mind. Not unpleasant, not terribly strong. It wants a nice little, I'm sure it would love to climb, but this one seems to be, I mean, I don't see any adventitious roots or climbing tools for this one. So I think it may trail a bit in its natural habitat, but it's done really well. It's put up with a lot of abuse on my part. This one has taken, well, before I got it settled into this setup, it took several dives off the front of the plant shelf because the weight of the plant just pulled the whole pot over. So that's when we moved it. That's when I moved it to pon, primarily for the weight of the pon itself. It helps keep the plant stable. But there are other solutions to that problem to keep it from jumping. So yeah, there's possibilities. I really enjoy this plant. I love the blooms. It's just a steady bloomer and grower. Give it, oh, there's a good, let's see if I can show those off. There's what the leaves kind of look like. They're very pretty. They're very, very pretty. It's just a beautiful plant. He's a little thirsty right now. Everything's really thirsty lately. Everything's growing and blooming. So yeah, it's sucking up the food and the water as fast as it can. So we just gave him a drink. He should be popping back up to his normal, beautiful self in a day or two. And yeah, this is definitely worth looking for if you like this kind of look. And if you like those yellow blooms. This one came from Plants Wake You Up, who's sadly no longer selling Hoyas. I'm going to miss you guys. You were a wonderful resource. But yeah, so look for Hoya ponderata, Vietnam. Next up is Hoya. Well, it's known by a couple names. It's known as Hoya patcharawalai, and I particularly like that name. It's also known as Ekensis or Esensis 023, AH Seeds 023, Hoya cultivar patcharawalai 023, Hoya Esensis, a whole bunch of names. Yeah, so you can kind of take your pick. We'll know what you're talking about, but I like patcharawalai. It was an accidental cross that came out of AH Hoyas in Ratchaburi, Thailand. So it doesn't occur in nature, but it happened there. So yes, the blooms. The blooms are just a very kind of in-your-face combination of colors. Very pretty. It's a little bit of a dripper. There is a scent to the blooms. That's what I've been smelling. There's been this, as I walk past the Hoya room in the evenings, there's been this kind of strange scent. It's a little smoky, but like they're burning something weird. I can't quite tell what it is. It's not like incense or wood smoke. It's a little odd. But that's what I've been smelling in the evenings. I haven't been able to narrow it down. Now I have. Yeah, those blooms are really, really cool. The leaves themselves are very cool. And as you can see, he's been dripping. So I'll have to clean that up in a few days. But the leaves are just beautiful. A nice outer dark margins, some beautiful veins in the center. That's just very pretty. This one sat for a while until it got happy, and then it started growing. It seems to be doing well right now. I have it in, was that another peduncle? Woohoo! I have it in my southeast facing window. It's on a table just inside the window, so inches. And it stays there year round. It seems to appreciate that level of sun, that level of light. Whoops. Oh, that's neat. The nectar's dripping, and it's very light and very sweet. Not sweet like sugar. It's just got really, really, really light honey flavor. Something would be very happy to find that. So yeah, this one's very cool. I love the leaves. I love the blooms. Together, it makes for what I think is a really winning combination. This one came from TQ Hoyas on Etsy, and this is Hoya patcharawalai. Next up, I've got a couple Lacunosa. Now, Lacunosa is native to Sabah, Sarawak, and Malaya in Malaysia, to Java and Sumatra in Indonesia, to the Philippines, and to Thailand, and was first published in 1827 in Bijdragen tot de Flora van Nederlandisch-Indie, or Contributions to the Flora of the Dutch East Indies by Carl Ludwig van Bloom. And the remarks on the herbarium sheet say Malaya, so I'm guessing that's where he discovered them. Yeah, these have just been a lot of fun. I have a bunch of Lacunosas. This one is Hoya Lacunosa, Mr. Tent. And as I've said, I know there's a story behind that name, but I don't know what it is. And it has very standard, very traditional Lacunosa blooms. And I will put pictures of them, close-ups on the side. This one is loaded with peduncles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's at least 30 peduncles on here that will be blooming in the next week. This is a very, very pretty Lacunosa. It's got long, narrow leaves that have the typical Lacunosa texture, sort of dimpling, and in somewhat lower light have a beautiful dark green color, but they live where they have to live. So yeah, this one's done very, very well for me. I like the long, narrow leaves, very pretty. There's a little bit of a dark margin, just a little bit of one. There's a little bit of splashing. It would probably like slightly lower light. I may see what I can do about that, but no promises in the plant room. Yeah, this one's very cool. This is Hoya Lacunosa, Mr. Tent, but also in bloom is another favorite, and this is Hoya Lacunosa, Giant Leaf. Now, the leaves, I mean, when I first heard that term, I thought, well, what does that mean? But that's what that means. That, where's my measuring tape? Here we go. My dentist would be yelling at me, but. So that Lacunosa leaf is 2.5 inches, which is about 6.5 centimeters. They're all on the large size, which is why I guess it has that name, Giant Leaf. They are very pretty. I mean, they're, it's a Lacunosa, so it's got that kind of beautiful dimpling and texture to the surface of the leaves. And this one too is in bloom. And I don't know for certain, but to me, the blooms on Hoya Lacunosa Giant Leaf appear to be larger than on my other Lacunosa. And they're Lacunosa blooms. They've got that ivory colored fuzzy corolla with a pale yellow corona and a little bit of dark honey color in the center. Yeah, and this one too has peduncles everywhere. This is a great little Lacunosa. It has done very well for me. Again, as long as I keep them watered, make sure they don't dry out, they'll do fine. Yeah, they're very, very cool. All my Lacunosas are getting ready to bloom, so I just picked two to bring out for you. So we have, be careful not to tear it up, Hoya Lacunosa Mr. Tent and Hoya Lacunosa Giant Leaf. And these came from a couple different sellers, so I don't have the names for them at the moment. But yeah, definitely worth looking for. My next ill-behaved bloomer is this Hoya retusa. Now, Hoya retusa is native to Assam in India and to Myanmar. So it's the upper northeast province of India and down in through Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. It was first published in 1852 in Hooker's Journal of Botany and Kew Gardens Miscellany by Nicole Alexander Dalzell. And remarks on the herbarium sheet say Ind or. So I'm not sure what the or means, but India. So yes. And this little guy, let's see if I can find one, is in bloom. And I'll put some close-ups. Let's see if I can find another one that's in a good position. Ooh, there's one. There we go. And I love these blooms. That purple color in the center is just beautiful. I mean, it's, on this plant, it's purple. And there's peduncles all over the place. So yeah. The reason I referred to this as an ill-mannered beast is, I don't know if you can see these, but since the warmer weather came, this plant has gotten into everything. You sometimes don't think of retusa as being an aggressive climber, but boy, oh boy, it is. I mean, you think of those beautiful, beautiful leaves and that really nice cascading look, but you know, these vines are 2 feet, 3 feet long, just reaching out. So because this one is something of a cooler growing Hoya, I moved it out here to the plant shelf. Actually, he lives right back there usually, where there's slightly fewer things to get into, you know, slightly less trouble to cause, although I will probably regret saying that because, yeah. I've said before that I put off buying Hoya retusa for a very long time because when you see them, they often look just awful. They were dried, they were straw colored, they were not looking really good. I had seen people talk about theirs and I thought it could look very pretty, but the ones I saw always looked awful. But I finally took a chance on one. It was rather inexpensive, which is probably why I took the chance, and picked one up and brought it home. I put it into bark and sphagnum, and it got regular watering. I think the place I bought it from thought of Hoyas as succulents. So yeah, we know about that, don't we? So I brought it home, set it up like that. It did really, really well. And then, as is often the case, it grew into a plant that required more moisture and conditions, better conditions than what I could give it in that setup. So he's now living in a 6-inch self-watering pot in my organic mix of bark and sphagnum, fine bark, long fiber sphagnum, cocoa husk chunks, and pumice. And it's a wick-based self-watering pot. And he loves it. This plant has just, since I put it in this new setup and moved it to a location where it gets a little bit more light through the winter, it's on a table in front of my southeast facing window. It's pulled back maybe 18 inches, which amounts to 46 centimeters, maybe. But between him and the window is my multiflora and a scorticini, which I need to attend to, because that one's just growing like, there's like 6 vines that have all wrapped together and it's going for something. So I have to intervene soon. We have to do a Hoya intervention. And it's not under any direct grow lights. It sits in the fallout. So yeah, apparently a gentler light, slightly cooler temperatures is what it prefers. And fortunately, I am able to do that for it. Would definitely recommend this one. If you like this fern kind of Spanish moss look, definitely. If it looks lousy in the store, it will respond well to your tender care. So yeah, this one came from Briggs in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, and this is Hoya retusa. Up is my Hoya. Well, I've seen it listed as a finlaysonii or just as a species, and this is chicken farm. Now, Hoya species chicken farm or Hoya finlaysonii chicken farm is native to Indonesia, to Kalimantan and Sumatra. In Malaysia, it's native to Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak, to Singapore and Thailand. And it was first collected in 1997 in Malaysia on the island of Borneo in Sabah near Tenom. And it was found near a chicken coop. And that is apparently how it got its name. The leaves are very, very neat, very cool, splash a little bit of texture. They are, yeah, they're bordering on credit card rigid. And if I can do this well, he is just starting to bloom. And there's 3 or 4 other peduncles on here getting ready to open up as well. Oddly enough, I would say that the scent is similar to something else I mentioned. Was it patcharawalai that I said smelled a little smoky? Yeah, I think it's similar to patcharawalai. The blooms don't look anything like them, but the blooms have corollas that go from a ruddy brownish red to cream, and then an ivory colored corona with a little bit of darker brown in the center. They're pretty, they're handsome, suitable for a good looking fella like this one. This one has really not been, other than, you know, we had some dealings with flat mites, but other than that, he's been pretty good. I mean, he's a good grower and produces some beautiful, beautiful leaves. And blooms as well. So, you know, yeah, the leaves are decent sized. Let's see. We've got 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters on that one. And this one up here is, don't argue with me, about 17 centimeters, 18 centimeters, about 7 inches. The underside, see if I can do this, is something like that. There we go. But it's a really handsome plant. It's very, very interesting looking. I mean, there's splash, there's veining, there's what almost seems like variegation. Very cool. This one, I mean, if this is related to finlaysonii, if it is a finlaysonii, this is the best growing finlaysonii I have, and I have 3 others. This one never gave me a moment's grief. It started growing right away, and it has done very well. So I can't say enough good things about Chicken Farm. The person who collected this plant originally was Eva Karin Viberg. This one came from TQ Hoyas on Etsy, and I'm gonna call this Hoya Finlaysonii Chicken Farm. And the question for the comments this week was suggested by a viewer. And the question is, what's your weird Hoya? For me, it's Hoya ranuensis. It can't, sometimes it puts out a big leaf, sometimes it puts out a small leaf, sometimes it's a lanceolate leaf, sometimes it's a plum-shaped leaf. They're pretty, but it's all over the place. And it could probably use some more light. What can I do? It lives where it lives. And yeah, that one or Coriacia. A lot of people have the silver version of that. I have to have the plain green. That one grows like a bat out of hell. I'm constantly having to pull it back. I mean, you know, a foot in a week is not unheard of for that plant. But the weird part is it's got like a leaf every 18 to 20 inches. And it's like, you know, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Yeah, so in the comments below, tell me what's your, I mean, as I always say, Hoya gonna do what Hoya gonna do. But in the comments below, tell me what's your weird Hoya. If Dave can wear his hat all the time, I'm gonna wear mine sometimes. So, first of all, I'd like to thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. Please remember to click the thumbs up like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell in there. That will tell Hoyas, like we tell Hoyas anything, that will tell YouTube to send you a notification that I've posted a new video. A lot of the products that you've seen me use are available through my Amazon storefront, and there's a link below in the description. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a link in the description too to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or there's a like button down here. Yeah, I think it's down here. And, or thanks button, that's what it says. It says thanks, and YouTube handles all the arrangements for that. As usual, I'm gonna post links to a couple more videos over here on the side, and please enjoy the rest of your week's end.